And I will confess that phrase, a rebellion against oppression, conjured up to me the Rebel Alliance fighting against the empire. Mike Lee, I am your father.
He's not well. Mike Lee, I am your father? I thought all this was Mike Lee's psych. Mike Lee would be the emperor here, and he would be Darth. Oh, my Lord.
And we're worried about the president? Okay. Cruz's marathon faux filibuster had little to no impact on his Republican colleagues, who questioned the merit of his speech.
Ted Cruz is a fraud, and he'll no longer have any influence in the Republican Party.
What I see happening now is people coming out and calling them out for the hypocrisy of these big, tough conservatives who know how to fight, but will never get in the ring.
If we're to shut down the government because we refused to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government operating, Obamacare still gets funded.
Ted Cruz and others like him have been writing checks with their mouth that their votes can't cash. And, you know, I think now they have to put up with shut-ups.
Senator Tom Coburn said, quote, "I love their vigor and their spirit, but to be told we're not listening by somebody who does not listen is disconcerting." Senator Ron Johnson also had his doubts, saying, "I hope Senator Cruz's oratory convinces 5 Democratic senators to vote with us. I just don't think that's going to happen." And Texas Governor Rick Perry had this to say, quote, "I don't think it's a good option. There's still some time to sit down and try and fix Obamacare. The idea that you have to defund government over one program is a bit nonsensical." John McCain had one big problem with Cruz's speech, his reference to Nazi Germany.
I resoundingly reject that allegation. I do disagree strongly to allege that there are people today who are like those who prior to World War II didn't stand up and oppose the atrocities that were taking place in Europe.
The editors at National Review Online write, "We wish we could say that Cruz and his allies have devised a workable strategy of their own. Instead, they want Republicans to refuse to vote for any legislation to fund the government unless it includes language denying funds to Obamacare. The history of shutdowns of 1995-96, the real history, that is, not the revisionist version that some advocates of this strategy have persuaded themselves to believe, suggests that this plan is unlikely to work."
Coburn said on the Senate floor also that his constituents have been sold a bill of goods. People who've been misled, there's no way you're going to talk them out of a position that outside interest groups and a very few small number inside the Senate have made.
The supposedly intrepid General Cruz can view the battle from the comfort of HQ or headquarters while the enlisted troops take any casualties. Former House Majority Leader Dick Armey said they're trying to create chaos.
Governor, you wrote a blistering op-ed for Breitbart News, in many ways admonishing the GOP establishment. You wrote, quote, "We'd like to believe that the GOP establishment would applaud the way these bold leaders have rallied to the grassroots to their cause. But no, such praise would require a commensurate level of guts and leadership, and the permanent political class in D.C. is nothing if not gutless and rudderless." A little reminder to Republican senators up for re-election in 2014. Moose season ends soon, allowing more time on one's hands. So we'll be watching your votes very carefully this week.
Someday, I'm actually going to tell America what I really think about GOP elephants that would actually turn on a senator. Dad, if you're watching this morning, if you're out of moose camp already and you're home, you are a teacher and you never told me that elephants were cannibalistic.
Do these people think that Tom Coburn is a rhino? Do they think that George Will is a rhino? Do they think Ron Johnson is a rhino?
Some may do.
Do they think Scott Walker, who disagrees with this strategy, is a rhino?
Some may do.
Do they think that Charles Krauthammer is a rhino?
Yeah.
If these people, if Charles Krauthammer's not a true Republican, and if Paul Ryan's not a true Republican, and if Tom Coburn's not a true Republican, and if Scott Walker's not a true Republican, I've got bad news for them. They're in the wrong party. They're actually the ones who are not Republicans.
Is it true? Would you agree it's true?
I would agree it's true. All the folks you just named,
Ted Cruz could give a rat's patootie about that. That's not his audience. He's not worried about what these people think of him.
But Ted Cruz is actually after helping Ted Cruz's cause and not the party.
Well, actually, I mean that's the whole thing.
Question
and that, again, that's what the Wall Street Journal editorial said the other day. Come on, this is about mailing lists and getting on TV.
I mean, and that's what's the problem here, is that he's alienating everyone in his caucus because they realize that it's all about Ted Cruz.
I don't need to be lectured by the guy that just ordered Pickett's charge, because I was part of Pickett's charge in 1995 to 1996, and we ran up that hill, and Bill Clinton slaughtered us in the shutdown. I criticized George W. Bush for blowing a hole in the national deficit while Ted Cruz was working for George W. Bush, setting his alarm at 3 a.m. in the morning and then sending an email and then going back to sleep so everybody in the Bush campaign thought he was staying up all night. And talk to anybody who worked in Bush's 2004 campaign and they will tell you that's what Teddy Cruz did.
Ted Cruz is a fraud and he'll no longer have any influence in the Republican Party.